Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host Jakel, the world's worst YouTuber. Today, we're going to try something different. Everybody, welcome to the beta testing for the ORC-VLOG. Now, there's a lot going into this video and why I want to do something new. And essentially is why this is the beta. Recently, I've been trying to come back to YouTube, but it's been very difficult to find some kind of content to make that I can carry myself through. There have been several videos that I started making, such as one that I started today, and either halfway through I wind up realizing I hate it, or this just isn't what moves me, and I'm just kind of going through the motions. When I first started this channel, all the way back in the end of 2017, I wanted to become a YouTuber. I wanted that to be my career. I wanted this channel to be what I made money off of. And honestly, I spent way too much time focusing on how to make that work instead of just making content that I liked. Granted, I did wind up making content that I actually enjoyed, but I lost track of what brought me to YouTube, which was to have fun and have a creative outlet. I wanted something to do to spend my free time doing. Talking about whatever the hell I wanted to talk about. Goofing off in whatever way I saw fit. Now, about a year ago, I kind of fell off from making YouTube content. Actually, it started more than a year ago. But whatever, let's just say about a year ago. Because that's when me and my partner broke up. So I had to wind up focusing on that and all of the breakup stuff. Man, I can't get comfortable in any of these angles where all 15 of my chins aren't showing. Is that going to work? It'll work for now. Is the hat not helping? The hat's not helping. At some point, I wound up uploading to TikTok. My TikTok content is mostly witchy and spiritual stuff. However, recently, I have made a second page in order to alleviate some of that. But I am still having a difficult time finding what kind of content to make because it's been so long since I made regular uploads for YouTube. Now, first question first. Why the title ORC-VLOG? Earlier in my channel, I had a semi-regular update series that I called ORC-LOG. I called it ORC-LOG because the title for all of my social media and my social media persona, Jakel, is based on a character that I made in D&D who is a half-orc, half-elf who identifies much more strongly with his orcish identity. So ORC-LOG. If we scroll all the way back to about November of 2018, we find the first one. A couple weeks later, I uploaded the second one. And then we've got 3 and 4. Scroll up a little bit. There's 5. And 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, I have all the way up to 13 of these things, but that's beside the point right now. I had the idea to bring those back, but for some reason I can't bring myself to sit down and sit still. It's become a lot easier for me to pick up the camera and walk around with it. And also, it's just been so long since I made one of those, I don't know how to do that again. I have come a long way since then. I am not the same person I was when I made those. And also, the reason I started doing them was to emulate Destry Smith. And now that dude's been canceled. I've said it before. If you don't know about it, I'm not talking about it here. But I can't bring myself to make content that once was emulating and walking in his shoes. Now comes the second point. Back around this time of year in 2021, so about a year ago, I uploaded a video that was just called 2020, and it was just sort of a recap of 2020. That was the last video that I uploaded until, I think it was September. Let's take a closer look at this. 2020, over a year ago. If we go up one, the very next one is a fresh start, the Half-Orc Supreme, 5 months ago. That is a hell of a gap. In that time, I wound up uploading to TikTok more frequently. And as most of you are aware, since most of you have come over from my TikTok, that account is mostly centered around witchy and spiritual things. And I have recently started a second TikTok account to sort of help alleviate the burnout that I've been feeling from that. I got very sidetracked between saying that was my... Here's the actual second point. This video here, behind the scenes, a closer look at Jakel, the Half-Orc Supreme. This was another vlog style video that I had a lot of fun making. When I filmed that, I was in the process of moving, I uploaded it, and when I filmed it, I just had fun. One, I needed the escape because things sucked, and things haven't gotten a whole lot better since then, but at least I moved. But overall, I had so much fun filming it, I had so much fun editing it, and it's still one of the favorite ones that for myself, one of my favorites that I have uploaded because it was a fun experience. And judging by the similarity between that one and this one, how there are extensively lengthy intros, I'm definitely walking in the footsteps of that video, but at least it's in the footsteps of one of my own videos. Which brings me to the third and final point in all of this. It has been so long since I have consistently uploaded content to YouTube. My channel here kind of goes in phases, and you can see that if you go through the page. In short, I have tried on a lot of hats because, courtesy of the ADHD, I wind up hyperfixating on things, and the content that I create reflects that. But the content that I was making in that gap was TikTok content, which is very much the way that I did it, was a lot like short-form vlogs. And one of the challenges that I have consistently faced with uploading TikTok content is that the most that you get is 3 minutes. If you go through this channel, you will see that I have sometimes really long videos because I talk at great lengths, whether you want me to or not. And yes, that is a quote from Dogma. Since there has been such a gap between me uploading content here from the last time that I uploaded consistently till now, I really don't know how to make the content that I used to. And boy, oh boy, trust me, I tried. I tried sitting down for a story time, talking about what got me into ghosts and spirituality to begin with, and I had a meltdown halfway through because I fucking hated it. I'm trying to emulate something that I made from so long ago when I am not that person anymore. I have changed and evolved so much since then. To try and put myself in those shoes, they just don't fit anymore. Now, this is not the first time that I have tried to soft reboot my channel, and the last time I did it, it was successful. Back in the beginning of 2019, I wound up going through a very serious mental health crisis. So I had to step away for most of the year, and I uploaded a couple of videos here and there throughout that year. But I wound up having a hard time uploading consistently. And I had a lot of the same problems then trying to come back as I do now. The soft reboot starts here with a Q&A with Jakel. I spent a half hour answering 14 questions. And then I wound up filming this video, which was a lot of fun to make. And then, scroll up, I did the second Halloween hangover. And then I did the 10th ORC-VLOG, which was supposed to be the last one. And then I went to Reddit and had people roast me. And this is the point where I actually was able to get my hands on a particular software where I was now able to do reaction videos. So this one, and countless more wound up being reactions. And from that point on, my content had changed drastically, and it was actually the most productive time that I had during my entire YouTube career. There was a gap in consistency, and trying to look back and do the same kind of content that I was doing before the gap, I just can't do it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still some videos, some series that I would love to continue doing just because they are so cool. That would be my coffee reviews. I actually, just yesterday, so Friday, just ordered Top of the Morning coffee. For those of you who don't know, Top of the Morning coffee is Jacksepticeye's brand of coffee. And on here, I have several coffee reviews. So when I have the luxury, I'm going to continue doing that. That being said, go ahead and check out my other coffee reviews. And then expect for me sometime within the next month probably to upload one of those, but for Top of the Morning coffee. I also have the Coffee Table Internet Adventures, which have now been renamed as Jakel's Internet Adventures. They got renamed because the coffee table that I was sitting at had gotten broken. and it feels wrong calling it a coffee table internet adventure when I'm sitting at the kitchen table. But the kitchen table is in my living room, so it's a living room table, which makes people think that it's a coffee table, but oh my god. Jakel's Internet Adventures works fine. And those were really cool because I was really able to dive deep into the internet lore of certain things. I've got the Ghosts of Halo, which is actually specifically a Halo-related thing. Then I have one on the Chicago Mothman, and I have one on Slender Man. I also did one on the Rake. I had found similarities between the Rake and other online cryptid sightings of things called crawlers, and others had made mention that there were similarities between these crawlers, the Rake, as well as certain monstrous creatures within indigenous folklore. And when I made that, I wanted to focus on the Rake and to see if there was something that was similar. But I wound up doing the same thing that everybody else was doing and equating these things to Skinny Boys and Wendy Bagels. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I'm indigenous myself, I was still raised by my white family. So just because my dad's indigenous doesn't really give me a free pass to just share the folklore with everybody on the internet to see. And because of that, it didn't feel right. It didn't sit right with me, so I want to redo it, mentioning that Skinny Boys and Wendy Bagels are similar, but ultimately leave it that they are not the same, and that these things are out there, but they're probably actually not that. What I'm trying to get at here are there are some videos that I'm going to want to continue to do because I have a lot of fun doing them. And to stop doing them would hurt. It would hurt me right here. That's my heart? Oh, yes, that's my heart. The screen might be inverted, I promise. It hurt me in my heart, in my soul, if I let this get the best of me to where I stopped making them. Oh, I also wound up doing one on Siren Head. This one right here I had a lot of fun doing. It was kind of like a coffee table internet adventure. However, it was not nearly structured in the same way. I just hopped online and started looking into it. Also, unlike the crawlers and Slenderman and stuff like that, Siren Head isn't a cryptid, so it didn't fit. Okay, I'm thirsty, so I finally got up from the couch. Now that I'm actually up and looking around in my living room, the lighting is fucking atrocious in here. Then again, I've got that ring light, that lamp. I've got that desk lamp. I'm also getting new to the surroundings. I've gotten used to this apartment, but I also just rearranged the living room. That was the first thing I fucking did when I woke up this morning. See, I've been dealing with a lot of burnout and depression, and things in here in this living room got a little stagnant. I was tired of looking at the same stuff. And even when I was in high school, Dahlia was our host, because just reminding you guys, DID system. Dahlia was the host back in high school, but even then, this is nothing new. We'd sit in our bedroom and we would look and we'd just be like, yeah, this shit's a little stagnant. Maybe if we freshen things up in here, our face and our life and our spirit will freshen up too. And honestly, it oftentimes worked. So we were hoping that by rearranging the living room in every single way, that's the other room. There's two living rooms here. That one's not ours. We don't take care of that one. And you know, I'm thinking about doing a little living room tour really quick. But there's not really a basis of comparison for what it looked like before. I don't know if there would be a point. But I'm just going to show you around anyway. Why not? Now, mind you, things are still a little messy because not everything has found a new place yet. However, let's start with the TV. That wasn't always there. That was over here. The altar was pushed over that way, so the dresser that the TV sits on could actually fit in that space. However, that was over there on that side in front of the, the air conditioner that's not being used because it's January. And that left just enough space in that corner for my table to go, which is now over here. Because honestly, I thought it would be cool that if I moved the table here, I'd have more space around me. And also, something that is really important to a lot of YouTube setups is the backdrop. I just thought it would be really cool if I could stand up, look myself in the face with this mirror, and then directly behind me is my altar. So now I've got a nice little witchy backdrop. Then again, I also don't think I'm going to be able to get the camera elevated high enough to see past my big fucking head in order to actually see the altar, but just know it's there. If I know it's there, I'll feel better about it. And now, I had the idea to rearrange the living room like this before, but I really honestly genuinely didn't have the spoons for it. But I've been starting to feel a little bit in a better mood, especially since I've been like changing up content and focusing on things that actually bring me more joy. Because part of it is, I love the witchy content. It is a staple in my life, and many of these things are always going to be a staple in my life. I'm a witch. I am also a pagan. The deities that are at the center of my practice are and have always been Hades and Tecate. I mean, hell. Hades literally has the whole back of my arm taken up. I have dedicated an entire portion. What am I trying? I have I have dedicated an entire portion of my arm to him. If I can slow down my thoughts just enough, so my words actually make sense. This is the struggles of dealing with ADHD comorbid with autism. But over alongside my ancestors, I have a place to worship Lady Nebutet, and I have a place to honor Queen Persephone as well. However, I have worked with many deities for extended periods of time, or just temporary periods of time. I know Apollo has been trying to get my attention. Thor has a place in my life. Actually, I forgot to mention, Dahlia drew this Mjolnir for Thor to welcome him onto our altar. We also have a place for Freya somewhere around here, and Odin had taken the bird for a brief while just so he had a place to hang out, but he only was hanging out for a little bit. Our relationship with Odin is he comes for a brief while, helps out, and then he takes off again. That's kind of just how we work with him. I had an original point bringing up... Oh, right! I'm always going to have something to say about spirits, spirituality, witchcraft, magic, stuff like that. I will always have something to say, but man, I've been at this and going at it for several years now, where it's been the all-consuming thing in my life. I just need to start talking about something else. I need to start thinking about the other things that made me me before I realized I could talk to deities and my life got all chaotic. Which is, in fact, the reason why I wound up bringing the Jakel character to life and started doing cosplay. I wanted to actually tell Jakel's story because Jakel was always a hyper-inflated, fantastical caricature of myself, where I could tell the story of me in a fantastical way that isn't real, but it is based in my life in some way, and I can tell pieces of my life in a fantasy setting. I'm not sure if you've noticed at this point, but I actually do genuinely have a speech impediment where I need to actually focus on what I'm saying. Otherwise, words aren't going to come out and they're going to get all jumbled. I don't know if it comes from the ADHD, the autism, the dyslexia. I don't know where the speech impediment originates, but I really need to focus on what I'm saying. Otherwise, it just gets all jumbled up. Deep breath. I had a lot of coffee before filming. So yeah, I even wound up buying my own player's handbook because I was playing the Jakel character in a campaign, and I became very attached to this character. And even after that campaign ended, the story of Jakel lived on in here. And since Jakel's inception, he was always supposed to be me putting myself in the story. But I've been uploading to this channel since just a few months after that campaign ended, so 4.5 years now? but I felt it was time. I felt that it was about time that I finally brought Jakel to life. And if you need proof on how invested I have become in bringing this character to life, let's take a look at this sword. This sword did not look like this originally. I have been working on it. It was all one color of black. It was all this color black. But I wound up sanding down, this part was silver. And I wound up sanding it down because two reasons. One, I love, look at my fingernails. Look at the way that I have dedicated the colors of Hades' sigil up there. I love the color. My ears are still on, and yes, they are staying on, at least for a hot minute. Where was I saying? Oh, yeah. I love the colors black and blue together. I love this shade of blue. I even have the color right here. I use it as sparingly as I can, but I also know that I can go ahead and find this again, because this is the perfect, it's got that perfect, like, it's royal blue, and it's got a little metallic sheen and shine to it. And no, the fingernails are not just the paint, but they are somehow the same shade. So I have sanded this all down. You know, this sidetrack. Now, what did I do with those items? There were a couple of things that I had gotten specifically to work on this sword, to bring it into the cosplay. I don't know what I did with the sanding brick, but I did get this file. I bought a file so I could start working on the sword. The reason that I got the file, and I know I am probably using it completely erroneously, but that's because it was originally supposed to be a Spartan sword. It was a wooden, like, $30 Spartan sword from FYE that I got for, well, Dahlia was the host. She got for our 16th birthday. You know, this was identical to that up there, but it broke off, and we tried gluing it several times, and it just wouldn't stay. So we said, to hell with it! Be gone with you! And then I wanted to start shaving this down because I started swinging it around a lot. But it kept getting caught on my wrist right here, so I decided to sand that down. And now, I didn't know what to do with the handle at first, but I realized that I have always enjoyed the look of the K-bar knives, so I decided to wood burn the handle so it resembled that a little bit. And then I don't know if I'm going to do a stain or if I'm just going to paint it brown. A stain with a seal. A sealing stain would be cool to give it that really wood finish effect so it actually looks like it's a handle. Now, part of the reason why I got the player's handbook was Jakel lived on in my mind. And at some point, after I stopped writing him down on my character sheet, oh, excuse me again, I am so sorry, but I'm not pausing. Let's continue. I apologize, let's move on. Since I stopped writing him down on the character sheet, in my little headcanon, the story I was writing for him, he became a necromancer. Which means I needed to figure out how to do that. Which means I needed to go to the handbook in order to figure that out. Which means multi-classing. Now, necromancy in D&D is a school of wizardry. Wizards need a spell book. I bought a book to be the spell book. And now I'm probably going to write my own notes of necromancy down in it because I was writing the necromantic spells in this book and became jealous of my character. What? That just proved to me that I am the basis of Jakel. I don't want to sound neurotic enough to actually say, I am Jakel, because clearly I'm not actually an orc or an elf, though you could convince me that I was built like one in multiple ways. My phone is telling me that it is dangerously low on battery, so as much as I would love to continue on, this is probably already a little bit too long to be a normal standard vlog anyway. I got carried away at some point. But this is kind of an idea of what to expect in future orc vlogs moving forward. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Let me know if you enjoyed it. and if you would like to see something like that moving forward. But also, if you sat through the whole thing, you've got a few more jumping points to look at some of my older content, some of my more favorite older content. I'm running out of time, and I'm running out of battery. Until next time, much love. Peace out. Namaste, and goodbye.